The announcement that North America's largest precious metals trading desk went public earlier today is only one of many factors that have contributed to silver's recent price rise beyond $52 per ounce. During our exploration, we will delve into the current state of silver. I'm having a hard time keeping up with all the news. Plus, I share quite a bit of material on my site. Even so, it is rather astonishing to observe that silver is already trading at record highs, with a spike and explosion of 4.4% today. Just moments before the markets close, I am recording this video and the price is $52.22. What about the other metals? I'll fill you up on their activities too. We won't limit ourselves to discussing the biggest precious metals trading desk in North America. Major coin stores nationwide are beginning to halt sales as well. Brian Kuzmar recently accomplished this earlier today. For the time being, he has halted the selling of silver, rare coins, and precious metals through his business. Even as far back as 1980, this had never occurred to him. The reasons for this include his inability to hedge, locate suitable products, and determine appropriate premiums. That's insane. And then he offers some wise counsel, the kind of thing I've been preaching for quite some time on this channel. Hold on to it. I agree with that. Everyone, cling to your silver. And this is the moment to keep. Also, get yourself a couple of them so you can keep your silver safe. Yes, keep some on hand if it means stacking fewer of this. Because the future is unpredictable, I usually tell you to go around and see what the market is doing because there are pros and cons to these high pricing. In addition, this channel is a service that can provide you with up-to-date news. Summit Metals, a bullion trader, is now its sponsor. Even now, they're interested in purchasing silver from you and other precious metals. Still, it's anybody's guess. Lots is going on. But when you have a moment, be sure to visit Summit Metals. If you want quick shipment and excellent customer service, all you have to do is look around your website. See the description down below for the link. I will go into more detail regarding what transpired with the precious metals trading desk's temporary suspension and shutdown after I give you a rundown of the current market situation. As a historic short squeeze in London continues, silver has reportedly hit a decade's high, according to Bloomberg. A global search for bullion to address the current demand-supply imbalance has taken on added importance in light of recent price spikes. Spot. Just hours ago, the price of silver surged 3.7% above $52 per ounce. Today, there was a 4.32% increase, with a $2.16 increase to $52.17 and a previous high of $52.26. At $4,120 an ounce, gold has soared 2% today, gaining $91 to $80. The prices of palladium and platinum are through the roof as well. It has gained 5.5% or $76 per day to reach $2,500 per ounce. At 1633, palladium is also up nearly 2% today. That's insane. As previously mentioned, there has been a tremendous increase in the price of gold, which is now trading above $400 plus, continuing a record-breaking run of 8 consecutive weekly rises. What a spectacular day! Silver was pushed closer to its 1980 record high of $52.50 per ounce as market participants fretted over London's liquidity. That is, of course, part of the complex of futures. Actually, that wasn't the 1980 spot price. In reality, it never hit $50 during that time. However, at the moment, this is only a little peak. There has been no adjustment for inflation. I should probably bring that up again. It will be quite some time before silver reaches that level. However, this is still cause for celebration. Something is happening. This is completely new, as I recently discussed with that coin store. In addition, the Chicago Board of Exchange that we witnessed in 1980 is no longer in existence. Traders are reserving cargo slots on flights that land in transit for silver bars as benchmark prices in London reach near historic levels compared to New York. An ostentatious means of conveyance, usually designated for the precious metal, in order to capitalize on its inflated London prices. Approximately $1.16 was the premium on Monday. Last Friday, silver lease rates, which show the yearly cost of borrowing metal in the London market, sprang to above 30%, leading to exorbitant prices for individuals seeking to cover their short positions. As a result of the stampede to send metal to New York early this year due to concerns about tariffs, lease rates in palladium and gold also tightened, indicating an expanding bull in London's bullion stockpiles. Compared to gold, the silver market is over 9 times smaller and less liquid. A note from analysts at Goldman Sachs Group Inc. amplified the price movements, stating that in the absence of a central bank intervention to support silver prices, even a short-term decline in investment activity could set off an inflated correction, as it would also unravel the London tightness that has been the driving force behind the recent rally. The outcome will be determined by then. It's interesting. Recently, central banks have hinted at wanting to have a stake in the silver market, which is something that hasn't happened in quite some time. Their actions will be monitored. Increases of 55% to 82% have been recorded for the 4 primary precious metals so far this year. That is just stunning. Palladium, perhaps, is currently leading a rise that has swept the commodities markets. The purchase of gold by central banks has supported its recent increase. An increase in ETF holdings and a decrease in interest rates implemented by the Federal Reserve. A U.S. government shutdown, ongoing trade tensions between the U.S. and China, and challenges to the independence of the Fed have all contributed to the rise in demand for safe havens. Additionally, China warned that it would respond if the U.S. proceeded with fresh measures and asked Washington to end tariff threats and resume discussions. Despite last week's suggestion of a 100% tariff on Chinese imports, Trump took a more conciliatory stance in his speech over the weekend. Additionally, we investigate the situation by looking at figures that have not been disclosed due to the shutdown. Silver, platinum, and palladium are essential minerals, and traders are anxiously awaiting the results of the U.S. administration's so-called Section 232 investigation. I anticipate that the figures will be released in the next week or two, or that the decisions regarding their addition will be announced later in the month. I guess we'll find out then if the government finally opens up. Metal prices have been rising because to concerns that new levies may engulf precious metals, setting the stage for a price squeeze on silver following a gradual but significant depletion of London's readily available supply. Consequently, it has the potential to be highly engaging. Futures for silver on the New York COMEX reached a new high of $50.56, an increase of up to 7%. A representative from the CME Group, the current owners of the COMEX, stated that the prior high was $50.35 in 1980. Therefore, it would be fascinating to observe. Reports from the so-called StoneX Bullion's trading desk are adding fuel to the fire, in my opinion. That is the biggest in North America. It went down, and a number of people on the X platform posted about it. The biggest metal trading desk is shuttered, according to an article here, which is bad news for Deegan. Thus, we need to fasten our seatbelts for the retail. Also, other people are beginning to post about this. Likewise, James Anderson is an investor in precious metals. The biggest trading desk in North America, StoneX Bullion, has had a momentary outage due to a silver short squeeze, which has caused spot prices to rise above $52 per ounce for the first time. This disruption, as shown in a screenshot from the client portal, is due to the large volumes that occurred during today's 3.7% surge in silver prices and gold's ascent past $4,100, which were fueled by U.S. trade tensions and expectations of rate cuts. In such cases, retail investors may experience execution delays and more extreme price movements due to limited liquidity. Similar events occurred in 2022 when the London Metals Exchange had to close due to the precipitous rise in nickel prices. That was the moment when the nickel crush happened. Was insane. It brings to mind that, wow, what we're witnessing is really unprecedented, but it's bound to become the standard eventually. Once again, it will open. What happens here will be interesting to see because we are witnessing history being made. Like 2011 and 1980, this is an anomaly, but this one is different. Yes, things are different this time around, and it's more like what occurred with nickel at the same time in the past. Indeed, we are living through fascinating times. After all, we witnessed what occurred with nickel, and it also turned around. Therefore, we will observe the duration of its shutdown. You never know. By the time you rewatch this video, it might even be open. But I bring you the most recent news and analysis from the precious metals sector on this channel. I would greatly appreciate it if you could consider subscribing to the channel if you find value in my content, as well as giving the video a thumbs up and sharing it on other social media sites. So, without further ado, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for watching, and I implore you to do the following. Subscribe, like, share, and rate the video.